I think after being about 3 months away, saying Mass on my own, the experience is more beneficial for me, because celebrating Mass on your own is very different from being with people, no? As I have told the priest and the people, church is when we go together, not when we see television and somebody celebrating a Mass or the screens on our phones. That is not church. That's virtual church. We are not in favor of that. So getting together with the people and seeing the people so happy that they are back in the church, it gives you, if I may use the word, a boost. You know, that it encourages you that people are still feeling the need of being close to Jesus, of coming to pray. I consider the church as an essential service, like other services. For most people who have faith, being in the church and praying together is a service they need.
You said that you don't approve of the virtual church, and the Pope himself has also been quoted as saying it isn't a virtual church. However, the advice you're giving to the vulnerable and to over 70s is to stay away. Is that not something of a contradiction? How should people feel?
No, because the Eucharist is meant to give life, not to give death. And if people who are vulnerable come here, and because of that, they experience the effects of the coronavirus, that's not what Jesus wants, I'm sure. So those who are vulnerable and those who are afraid of being infected by this virus, they are excused from coming to church. There are many people who are prepared to come. I wouldn't say to take the risk, because we do everything in the church to try to keep safe those who come here, no? But I intend to give what we call dispensation, the permission for those who are either not able to come to church, or it's better for them not to come to church. They can say prayers instead. They can watch other masses on television because of the situation they are in. You know, on television, you don't have to have the masses in Gibraltar. There are other masses in other stations, and everybody knows that. So I feel satisfied, and this is happening in most dioceses, not only ours, no? To tell people who are vulnerable or afraid, don't come. The time will come when then you can come and you're safe.
You mentioned safety measures have been implemented here. What type of things are you doing?
Well, we made sure and we marked all the benches where people can sit and how far apart they can sit. The benches here are practically 3 meters long, and the distance between one bench and the other is more than 1 meter. So by blocking the intervening benches, so you sit in one bench, then the third bench, then the fifth bench, those are the social spacing or distance that we have provided. So anybody who comes to church and follows what is there, they are safe. Even to come to communion, we have, like in restaurants and in supermarkets, strips on the floor to show them what the distance is that they should keep.
Restaurants and bars are taking contact details in order to help with contact tracing should that be required. Are you doing the same thing here?
No, I know usually the kind of people or the people that come, but I'm not taking their names. It's impossible to take the names of 60 people or whatever that come in, no? But obviously, if anything ever happens, then we'll tell people, look, if you were here on that day, at that time, there was somebody sitting in that place. So if you were near there, tell the authorities that you were near. I think that would be enough. It's impossible to be taking names here in church, you know. A restaurant, it's more limited, you know. In supermarkets, they don't do it. So, you know.
And do you have any words for those that have found the last few months very difficult?
Well, I think that most of us have found things difficult. What I would say is that we have to learn to be patient and to make sacrifices in life. I think this is an experience which have taught us a lot. And I think that it shouldn't be an experience that after it's over, and hopefully it will be over, we don't forget the lessons that we learned in this experience. We try to do our best to comfort people, to try to stand by them, phoning them, whatever, no? And we encourage people, especially those who are on their own and oldish, not to be left on their own, especially by their families. But those, for example, who give communion in the church, the extraordinary ministers, we encourage them. Phone those you give communion to, because they couldn't go to give them communion, no? And at least make them realize that they are not forgotten.